She smiled during the interrogation until detectives found the footage. The perfect alibi. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because after this case, you'll never look at a smile the same way again. It was a quiet suburban morning in Brookhaven, a small town tucked between the rolling hills of Oregon. The kind of place where neighbors waved at each other, doors were left unlocked, and everyone knew everyone else's business. But on June 17th, that illusion shattered when police were called to a beige two-story home on Alder Street. Inside, they found 22-year-old college student Rachel Turner, lying motionless in her bedroom. The scene was unnervingly still. No signs of forced entry, no obvious struggle. Only one chilling detail stood out. Rachel's laptop camera light was still on. Detective Evan Morales, a seasoned investigator with a reputation for patience and precision, arrived minutes later. Rachel's parents were out of town, and it was her roommate, Lily Shaw, who discovered the body after returning from an overnight shift at the diner. Lily was pale, trembling, but cooperative. She said she hadn't seen Rachel since the night before. "We had pizza, watched a movie, then I went to work." Her voice cracked as she repeated, "Who would do something like this?" At first glance, it looked like a robbery gone wrong, but something didn't fit. Nothing valuable was missing. Rachel's wallet, phone, and jewelry were untouched. The only thing that seemed out of place was the faint smell of bleach near her desk. Morales knew that scent too well. Someone had tried to clean up. Later that day, police brought Lily in for a formal statement. She appeared calm, almost too calm. Sitting across from the detectives in the small gray interrogation room, she answered every question with precision, even a hint of amusement. When Morales scared if she and Rachel had ever argued, Lily smirked slightly. "We were fine. I mean, roommates fight, but nothing serious. You can ask anyone." The interrogation lasted nearly 2 hours. Through it all, Lily maintained the same composure, leaning back, crossing her legs, occasionally smiling like someone discussing a minor inconvenience rather than a friend's brutal death. The detectives found it unsettling, but not damning. Without clear evidence, they couldn't press her. She walked out that evening, thanked them politely, and said, "Good luck catching whoever did this." Days passed, and the investigation hit a wall. Forensics confirmed Rachel had been struck on the head with a blunt object before being suffocated. The medical examiner estimated time of death around 1 a.m., the exact time Lily claimed she was at work. Her manager backed up her alibi. The security footage from the diner showed Lily serving customers until nearly 1:20 a.m. on June 17th. It seemed airtight. But Detective Morales couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. He revisited the evidence. Rachel's phone logs, her messages, and finally, her laptop. The computer had been wiped clean, but the tech team recovered fragments of deleted files. Among them was a corrupted video, a half-hour clip recorded from Rachel's webcam just before her death. When they restored it, the room came alive again, grainy, dimly lit, with Rachel seated at her desk, studying. A knock echoed from the door. "Come in," she said softly. The door opened, and though the angle didn't show a face, a familiar voice filled the room. "You forgot this," the person said, setting something on the table. Rachel smiled, unaware of the camera still recording. Detective Morales froze when he heard it, the same calm, slightly amused tone from the interrogation room. Lily's voice. The video ended abruptly, corrupted mid-frame. But it was enough. Morales immediately requested the diner's full security feed from that night. Not just the inside cameras, but the exterior ones too. That's when everything began to That's when everything began to unravel. At 12:47 a.m., Lily's car was seen pulling into her driveway, 30 minutes before the supposed end of her shift. The interior footage inside the diner after that point showed her working, but the timestamps had been altered. Someone had tampered with the files. The detectives called her back in the next morning. When she walked into the room, she smiled again. The same practiced, confident grin that had unnerved Morales before. "I already told you everything," she said. "Did something change?" He leaned forward and slid a single photo across the table, a still frame from the recovered webcam footage. Rachel's room, Lily's silhouette standing in the doorway. For the first time, her smile faltered. The interrogation room went silent. The air thickened as Lily's hand trembled slightly on the table. "You don't understand," she whispered. "It wasn't supposed to happen like that." The camera blinked red, recording everything. The footage they weren't supposed to see. The hum of the air conditioner was the only sound in the interrogation room. Lily sat perfectly still, her once confident smile now replaced by a tight-lipped expression of unease. Detective Morales leaned back, eyes locked on her. He didn't need to speak first. Silence, he knew, was the sharpest tool in the room. After nearly 30 seconds, she broke. "You think that video proves something?" she said softly. "It doesn't show anything." Morales tilted his head. "It shows you were there, Lily, at 1 a.m, the same time Rachel was killed." She met his gaze, forcing a smirk. "You can't see my face." "That's true," Morales said, "but we match the voice. The inflection, tone, and even the way you pronounce your R's. It's you." Lily looked away. The composure she'd mastered was slipping. "Rachel wasn't supposed to die," she whispered finally. Morales stayed quiet, giving her room to talk. He'd seen it before. The guilt, the panic, the cracks forming under pressure. Lily exhaled shakily. "We argued that night. About money. She'd been using my name for her student loan applications. I just wanted her to admit it. I went home to talk, not to hurt her, but she started yelling. She said she'd ruin me." The detective's expression didn't change. "So you killed her?" Lily's eyes flared. "No, I pushed her. She hit her head on the desk. There was blood. I panicked. I thought she was still breathing, but then..." She stopped, covering her face. "I didn't mean to." Morales nodded slowly. "You left her there, cleaned up the blood, and went back to work." "I thought if I fixed the footage, if I could make it look like I was gone the whole time," she said, her voice breaking, "no one would ever know." He tapped the table lightly. "But Rachel recorded everything, Lily. Her laptop was streaming to the cloud. Even if you wiped the device, the file was backed up." Her head snapped up, horror spreading across her face. "You're lying." He shook his head. "No. We have the full recording. Every word. Every second." For the first time since her arrest, tears slid down her cheeks. She wasn't smiling now. She was trembling. And then, just as Morales began to collect his notes, something strange happened. Lily straightened up and laughed. Not nervously, but coldly, almost relieved. "You think you know everything?" she said quietly. "You think I did this alone?" Morales froze. "What do you mean?" Lily stared straight into the interrogation camera. "You should ask her boyfriend. Ask Tyler what he told her that night." The detective's blood ran cold. Tyler was Rachel's boyfriend, the one who'd been out of town, the one who'd cried through his interview. Morales hadn't suspected him once. Within hours, the team began, combing through Rachel's text messages. What they found changed everything. On the night of her death, she'd argued not only with Lily, but also with Tyler. He'd sent a message that read, "You tell her about us and I swear you'll regret it." The implication hit like a bullet. Us didn't mean him and Rachel. It meant him and Lily. Morales reviewed the recovered webcam footage again. Near the end, just before the struggle, another voice faintly echoed from behind Lily. A male voice. "Just hurry up," it said. "We don't have all night." Tyler. Detectives arrested him 2 days later. When confronted, Tyler confessed to being there that night, not to kill Rachel, he claimed, but to talk things through. He said Rachel had threatened to tell everyone about his affair with Lily, and he couldn't let that happen. But as the argument spiraled, things got violent. Tyler claimed Lily lost control. Lily insisted Tyler snapped first. Neither of them would admit who struck the fatal blow, but the footage told the story. The blurred motion, the sound of impact, the sharp gasp, a moment that couldn't be undone. The trial captivated the nation. 2 young lives intertwined by jealousy, deceit, and fear. The footage was played for the jury only once, in a closed courtroom. Those who saw it described it as something you can't unsee. Lily was sentenced to 25 years for second-degree murder. Tyler received 30 for conspiracy and obstruction of justice. Neither spoke to each other again. Months later, Detective Morales sat at his desk, reviewing a stack of cold cases, when a letter arrived with no return address. Inside was a single USB drive. The file name read, Alder Street, full video. He hesitated, then clicked play. It was the same footage, Rachel's final moments, but this time it ran longer. After the attack, after both Lily and Tyler fled, the screen showed the door creak open again. A faint shadow entered the room. A woman's voice whispered, "You shouldn't have recorded this." Then the feed cut to black. Morales leaned back, pulse racing. That voice, it wasn't Lily's. It wasn't Rachel's. It was someone else. The case, he realized, wasn't over. The screen flickered one last time before shutting off completely, leaving the reflection of his face in the monitor's blue glow. Final line. Haunting outro. They thought they'd caught the killers, but the footage told a different story. And if you think this case was chilling, wait until you hear the next one. Hit subscribe before someone hits record.